And businesses describes as typically formed to earn profit that will increase the wealth of its owners and grow the business itself. So our job, our business, we have been formed by God and created to earn Him profit. Our lives are supposed to be His profit. Our lives, He's not just put us here for, God has invested in us. He has invested, like we read in that passage, where He was talking about, the Lord set His heart in love upon your fathers and chose them, you above all peoples. So God has really invested His love in us. He wants a profit. He wants a return of investment on it. That we may increase the wealth, businesses to increase the wealth of its owners. We're to increase God's wealth. So the kingdom of heaven that has 5 people, we're to make that 5 10, and to make that 10 20, and to make that 20 40. Do you understand what I'm saying? We are to increase the wealth of God's own business. God's business is supposed to be our business, and we are supposed to grow His business. So the church that we're in, we have to make sure that that church has profit. We have to make sure that that church is increased in wealth. We have to make sure that God Himself is happy with this church. Business also relates to the state of being busy, either as an individual or society as a whole, doing commercially viable and profitable work. So, as Auntie Brown explained, we are to be busy. If you're not busy doing God's work, then I'm sorry, you're not busy for God. We saw in the early church that, my goodness, they were busy. That church was just hustle and bustle. Already today we're facing challenges here because we might be a bit too busy for our owners. That's a good thing, but we need to get even busier still. Ask yourself how many times in the week you're actually spending on God's stuff. Then perhaps you might be able to see, am I really busy for God's business, or am I busy trying to grow my own business or my own things? Busy either as an individual. So we have an individual responsibility to make God's business grow. But we also have that collective responsibility. It says all society as a whole. So it's our collective responsibility doing viable and profitable work. Amen? So the one business of our lives should be glorifying Him by every word of our tongues. So let's examine from today what comes out of here. You know, Fred Hammond said something. He said, more than your words, people see your actions. And as Christians, we get slated a lot because people say Christians are hypocrites. Christians, they say that they're holy, but they are the worst, they're the vilest, they're this and that. More than what we profess to be. Oh, I'm Christian, I'm this. Let people see that through the way that we behave. Let people see that through the words of our tongues. Let people see that by what we use our hands to do. Again, in that passage that we read, God was saying through Moses about looking after the stranger, about how God has a special concern for the widow, for the fatherless. And it struck me, I thought, why the stranger? Because you can say that the widow, the orphaned, those are people that have lost, their income, they are alone, they're this and that. But the stranger, but that's even somebody who is just coming into a strange land, feels a bit uncomfortable, not sure how to settle in. So just anybody that may be out of place, out of sorts, where to lend ourselves, where to give ourselves. So that is our business. And we thank God that we actually have the soup kitchen as an outlet through which we can do that. And I pray that God really does move us all to take on that responsibility of looking after so many people. And God said it in there. He said in that passage, He said, not forgetting that you yourselves were strangers in the land of Egypt. Again, I asked myself, what is God saying there? To me, God is saying, use your experiences of the past to help someone in the same situation as you. So if, for example, I don't mind taking from my own example, if I found it difficult after, being married to have a child, I now, because I've been through that experience, I know that the emotional challenge, the spiritual challenge, anybody else that I come across, I can say, I can be that source of encouragement then, because I'm using what I've been through to be there for that person. When the people of Israel were strangers in Egypt, they know how they would have felt. They've come into a land. It's not their land. Imagine how you feel when you go to a new place of work. I used to temp a lot before. And every building that you go into, if nobody's there to show you around, you don't know where anything is. Where are the toilets? Me, as soon as I enter somewhere, I'm wishing, please tell me where the restaurant is. That's just all I want to know. Where's the restaurant and how big is it? You know, but it's just a case of, because you want to be told, you don't want to go into an environment and you're not quite sure, where do I fit in? So we're supposed to make sure, even in this country that is the land to so many from all nations, we're not supposed to discriminate and say, oh, they shouldn't be here, foreigners shouldn't be here, they are using all of our resources. Let's be there to help them in any way that we can. So please, let's use our experiences, use our love, use everything that we have, our tongues, our words, to really glorify God, to make it our business, to enlarge and to increase and to make sure that there's profit in his business by professing your truth. Some of us still struggle with that, and we struggle with it so much, and we're finding that it's even more difficult now to profess God's truth. It's tough. You can't even say it in the workplace now. You feel a bit on edge. We're doing some work for the OK Foundation, and I had to make a phone call because we want to do something in Wood Green Shopping Centre. And in the email that I put there, that we did this at the Cadogan Hall, told them what it was, etc. And when I was speaking to the lady, she quickly caught on to that. And she said, oh, by the way, are you religious? And I was like, mm-hmm. And I was like, sorry? And I said, no, we are a charity. We're not a church. And she was like, oh, because if you are religious, there's absolutely no way that we're going to allow you. We're not going to give you the license. We're not going to da-da-da-da. And my head, oh, my Lord. And I was just like, what? Has this country gotten to this? And they said, it is our strict policy. Any religious group, we do not give permission to put up any displays, to use our space, to do whatever. So, and because she saw gospel music, she saw nothing else to give it away, but immediately thought, that is a religious, and obviously from gospel, she thought, they're going to be black, they're going to be radical, they're going to be Pentecostalist, they probably come from an industrial unit, you know, all those kind of like stereotypes. And immediately it was going to be a no-no. But we still have to profess his truth. And it says, and by engaging all men. So we need to make sure that we even engage. It's not enough, even within our church, to just say hello, hello, hello. We have to engage people. We have to engage people. And I'd like to just comment on, and just to applaud even Mama, because you've been doing a really grand job with Michael, the way you've been engaging him. And that's something that all of us should take encouragement from. It's not enough to just say, oh, hi, how are you? As soon as someone comes amongst us, let's engage them. Let's find out about them, because you never know how you can be used for that person. You never know how your experience is. If Auntie Brown didn't get talking with Sister Marva last week Sunday, she wouldn't have known that they share the unique twin factor. They've both had twins. And obviously there are lots of, that is automatically something that you can relate to and talk about. So let's engage one another. So far as in me lies, to glorify and love you. That's all that it's about. To glorify and to love him. So let's all stand up on our feet, and together let's offer this prayer to God. Praise him.